Good evening. Welcome to the show. I'm S.W. Griffin, and this is my first YouTube broadcast and podcast. Hear me out. I have something to say. So we're going to be talking about the scandal at Fox Sports 1 with Joy Taylor, Skip Bayless, and their CEO of content at Fox Sports 1, Charlie Dixon. And Emanuel Acho is also included in this. Well, he's not included in the lawsuit, but his story being part of the whole fiasco is also included in the storyline of the lawsuit by Nushin Faraji, a hairstylist who was fired from Fox Sports 1. But she's got a lot of receipts on a lot of different things concerning what happened at Fox Sports 1 during that period of time. She worked for Fox Sports 1 for 10 years. And she's claiming that Skip Bayless sexually harassed her and offered her $1.5 million to have sex. Now, $1.5 million is a lot of money to have sex with somebody. I think you could pay a lot less to have sex with a 9 or a 10. I'm talking about as far as looks. You got women that are 3s, 4s, and 5s as far as rating and grading them on a scale of 1 to 10. And then you got 8s, 9s, and 10s. And there's women out there that are 9s and 10s that have sex for less than $1.5 million. Gosh, man, if you're going to offer that much money for a woman, when you pull your Johnson out, it should be sprinkled with gold pixie dust, You should be able to take a brush and brush your penis off and brush the gold dust into a cup and be able to take it to a pawn shop and get some money for it. Jeez. I ain't never heard of no cootie being worth that much money. That's just crazy. That's nuts. But that's allegedly what Miss Faraji says that Skip Bayless offered her to have sex. Now, here's a point that should be made. If he did offer her that much money to have sex, it would be a tremendous thing for a woman of her caliber who was making the type of money. Because she's not making millions of dollars like he is. I mean, he was reported to have inked a multi-year deal at Fox for $32 million. That ain't nothing to sneeze at. I mean, shoot, that's almost in the scale of some pro athletes. Not quite, but that's some very good money for just getting up every day and going to the studio and talking about sports. But evidently Skip was good enough, and so he paid his dues in the industry, and that's where it was. That's where his pay scale was, and I'm not knocking it. But Miss Faraji, she was a hairstylist. A hairstylist is not making that type of money. In fact, they're not even. I guarantee you, she wasn't even making $1 million a year, or probably maybe $100,000 a year, maybe. But I doubt if it's that much. But maybe she was making $100,000 a year, maybe. So, to be offered $1.5 million and turn it down. If that's true, then that's a woman with some strong moral character about herself. That's for sure, because I know there's some beautiful women out there that would have took 5, 10, 15, 20,000 if you had offered them that much. And I watch a lot of YouTube from time to time, and I see the gold digger videos and so forth, and I see the girls, they hit on the girls, and they're walking and hit on the girls, and the girls turn them down, and then when they walk back to their car, they're driving a Lamborghini or a Lamborghini Urus or a Lamborghini Aventador or something like that, SVJ. And they hit the button and it beeps and the girls turn around to see the car. Then they make a U-turn. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't really mean to be so mean, but I just thought you was a regular guy. Regular guys hit on me all the time. Well, what are you saying, lady? You saying that when you saw the expensive $300,000 car plus that all of a sudden you got wet and you start seeing visions of shopping sprees and trips to Cancun and Dubai and that all changed real fast once you seen an expensive car. Wow. Wow. So I know that there's women out there who will do that, who will, if you offer money for sex, they will do it if they're getting something out of it. And basically, they're prostitutes. You got women today that say that they will not date a guy if he won't pay her rent or get her hair and nails done and give her shopping sprees. They won't date him. Well, guess what, ladies? If a man does that, you should be his wife. You should be his wife. Only a wife deserves those type of things. But you hear the women say, well, he ain't getting this for free. He ain't getting this cootie for free. Well, are you a prostitute or what? Because if you was a real woman, you'd be trying to get you a husband. See, paying for a woman's hair and nails and shopping sprees and trips and all that stuff, that's wifey treatment. That's what you do for your wife. You don't do that for a woman that you date. You take her on the date. You pay for the date. If it's an expensive restaurant, you pay for the date. You pay for the meal. You pay for the movie. You pay for the amusement park. But what you don't do is you don't pay for her to get her hair and nails done. Well, some women would say, well, you'll take me to expensive restaurants, so why don't you pay for my hair and nails? Because that's wifey treatment and you're not my wife. You're supposed to come with your hair and nails already done. And when I take you on a date, that's out of my pocket. But you're supposed to pay for your own hair and nails. Well, you ain't getting no booty from me. Well, guess what? You shouldn't be dating for that reason to get things out of him. You should be looking for a husband. But see, we got the internet now today, and you got all these people teaching this sprinkle stuff. And what it really is they're teaching them how to be whores. They're teaching them to be prostitutes. And so the prostitute is on the rise because of the internet and because of all this stupid ideology out here by these women thinking that they should get the same treatment as a wife. No, you don't. You don't get the same treatment. You don't get your bills paid. You want your bills paid? Find you a husband. Submit yourself to a man. Then you get those things. But see, here's the thing. Getting back to Joy Taylor is that she was married and she was having this affair with Charlie Dixon. Of course, he was married too. He was just as wrong. So they're both in the wrong, which is wrong. They're both wrong. They're both having affairs, cheating on their respective spouses. But yet, she had a husband, and her husband meant nothing to her, according to what's stated in this lawsuit that Miss Nushin Faraji documented about Joy Taylor. Her husband meant absolutely nothing to her. Absolutely nothing. Again, her husband meant absolutely nothing to her. So he was just a vehicle, a temporary vehicle to get to where she wanted to go. And that's all she was using him for. She didn't care about him. She didn't love him. See, Joy Taylor is not a woman who's going to be a woman and a wife and a mother. That's not in the cards for her. It's all about her. It's about her and no one else. And she will do whatever she can to get the things that she wants. And if she has the screw to get it, that's what she's going to do. And you got too many women out here who are the same way. They do not want to be good women. It is not in their cards. They could care less. But see, women, you cannot be the same as a man. A woman that's a whore is a whore. A man that sleeps around, he's wrong too. It's wrong for a man to do that. But it affects him a lot differently than it affects a woman. She takes a bigger hit than he does because she's built so differently. She has all this oxytocin, and that oxytocin is released when she's have sex with a man so that she'll be able to bond with her mate, a bond with a man. But if a woman has too many sexual partners, she loses her ability to bond with anybody. In fact, studies have proven that if a woman has more than 5 sexual partners in a lifetime, it reduces her chances of bonding and staying married by 80%. She only has a 20% chance of staying married if a woman has more than 5 sexual partners. And I tell you, there are women out here who got 30, 40, 50 different sexual partners, and they can't bond with a man. It's done. It's like having glue on a paper, or if you got tape on a paper, and you tape that piece of paper to a wall, and you keep pulling it off, and you keep pulling it off. Well, you keep pulling it off, and it loses more of the sticky stuff on the side of the tape that sticks to the wall until it no longer is able to stick to anything. And that's how a woman is when she started having sex with a lot of different men. She gets drawn into this endless cycle of riding the cock carousel, is what they call it. She's riding the dick carousel, the cock carousel, and she loses her ability to bond. See, you can't find nowhere in history or biblically or otherwise of a woman having more than one husband, because it's not good for a woman to do that, because she's not built that way. You won't find a woman having 1,000 women like Solomon had. Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines, which were his secondary wives. So he had 700 number one wives, and then he had 300 secondary wives, and they were concubines. And a woman can't do that. A woman can't have sex with 1,000 different men and keep her sanity. She can't keep herself together because she's not built that way. And there are other reasons that God allowed it to be that way, because there will always be more women than men because of wars, because of things like that, because men go out and work, they go hunt, they could get killed hunting. In early days, before everything was modernized in the 1700, men went to war and died. They went out and hunted, and sometimes they got killed hunting. And so there were always more women than men. And so women had to share men in marriage and so in countries of over in the Middle East, it's still allowed for men to have more than one wife. But a woman is not built to have more than one man. It just doesn't work. She's not built that way. Now, you can get angry about it, but you have to get angry with God about it, because that's the way he created woman. That's the way he created things. And he did it that way for a reason. The God we serve is not an idiot. Now, in the beginning, it was not so. God did not originally intend for a man to have many wives. When he created Adam, it was just Eve. It was only the two of them. But later on, as things progressed, he allowed men to have more than one wife. David had a lot of wives, and Solomon had 1,000 women. So he didn't cheat. They were all his wives. It wasn't illegal. It was his wives. The only thing that Solomon did that was illegal in marrying those women is he married women. A lot of those women were not worshipers of Jehovah God. They were foreign women who worshiped false gods. And when he married those foreign women, God told him, don't you marry no foreign woman who worship other gods, because they'll turn your heart away from the one and only true God. And Solomon went and did exactly what God told him not to do. And he started building temples, false temples to those false gods, because those women was driving him crazy. Build me a temple to Ashtaroth. I want to worship my God Ashtaroth. And you got 1,000 women, and all of them on your back wanting you to build a temple. And Solomon started building temples for these women, to these false gods. Ruined it. See, if Solomon had a married, it wasn't the 1,000 women. It was the 1,000 women that didn't believe in God that got him in trouble. God didn't care that he had 1,000 wives. It was who the wives were, and you need to understand that even today in our society, and we don't have a society that's built on men having many different wives. But if you're going to choose a wife, you better choose one that believes in something, that has some moral standards and moral values. Because if she don't have any moral values and anything goes with her, you're gonna be in a world of trouble. You're gonna be in trouble because you got a whore on your hands. You got an ungodly satanic whore, and she gonna ruin everything that you stand for. And believe it or not, there's a lot of women that are in the church that claim to be Christian that are that way. It's infiltrated with it. It's infiltrated with it. You hear me? The church is infiltrated with whores. And some of them even call themselves preachers, like Paula White. I can name a few other women preachers. Oh my God. Oh my God. But I don't want to get too deep into that. That's a subject for another day. It really is. It's a subject for another day. So, do you know any charismatic Pentecostal whores? I know some. I know some whores at the church now. But that's a subject for another day. Okay. We'll get into that. I'm a Christian, but we'll get into that. Hey, we'll get into all the televangelists, all crooks. They all crooks. Oh boy, they teach the prosperity message and nobody getting rich but them. We'll get into that though. That's a story for another day. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But getting back to the main subject, look, what we have here is a situation. That situation at Fox Sports One is just, I mean, it won't be over until the trial is over with. That's what's going to go down with that one. When the trial is over with, that's when it's going to be over with, because this is something that has exposed the whole atmosphere, the whole idea of what it is to get ahead in life. And you got a whole generation now that thinks it's okay, to have sex to get what they want. A whole generation of women who are being taught this over the internet, that if you want something, you got to have sex to get it, and marriage is not an option. Look, we got statistics right now, even in the black community, and I'll put it this way. And up until 1965, 80% of all black children were born after they were married, after the woman was married. Today, 80% of all black children are born without marriage, outside of marriage. They're born outside of marriage. When I was growing up, if a girl got pregnant in high school, they sent her away because they didn't want her to be a embarrassment to the family. But see, there's no shame in things now. So you got women out here that got 5 kids, but 5 different men. And then they wonder why they can't find a husband, because no man wants to follow behind that. You're ruining your life, and no one's teaching these women that you can't be having kids without getting married. It used to be marry before you carry. But now, I got 4 different baby daddies. I got 4 babies by 4 different baby daddies. I seen a woman that had 7 kids by 6 different men. Wow. Wow. So you got a whole nest full of bastard babies. That's right, I said it. Bastard babies. Illegitimate bastard kids that's going to grow up out of wedlock, no daddy in the house, and you think you're doing something, you think you're doing something, you think you're doing something to help society, you are ruining society. You are ruining society. And no man in his right mind that's a decent man is gonna want to come behind and take care of you and your 6 kids that have your 7 kids with 6 different baby daddies. Are you nuts? But that's another story. That's another conversation for another day. But I thought I'd just throw that in there for right now because it'll probably come up later as a complete talk show from me about that, a complete video about that. And I can get into it, get into some real deep statistics and biblical statistics to go with it. Why it's destroying neighborhoods, period, you know. And so with the Fox News situation, Fox Sports 1 situation, Skip Bayless, I don't know what you're going to do to convince your wife that this is all just a joke, this is a lie. And Joy Taylor, you've been pushing this idea, this ideology of women empowerment for years now, and we find out that you clapping cheeks to get your way, clapping cheeks to get ahead, clapping cheeks to get ahead. That is the message that you have sent to millions of women across this country. That I'm Joy Taylor and I smack cheeks to get ahead. And there's nothing that you can do to prove otherwise. There's nothing you can do. And that's why they've been silent. They've been silent. And you got people out here like Stephen A. Smith trying to take up for her. Well, here's the thing with Stephen A. Smith, and this is what I believe. This is my belief. He's taking up for Joy Taylor out of fear and out of guilt that his life won't be uncovered with the same type of mess. And here's what I say. When you take up for somebody who has allegedly done the things that Joy Taylor has done, and she was going to call grape and calls and say a man forced her to have sex to get and destroy his life in the process. When you're taking up for something like that, you too, Cam Newton. When you're taking up, you're some screwed up people. Stephen A. Smith, I believe that you're taking up for Joy Taylor because you don't want those detectives with those with those basset hounds and those cadaver dogs sniffing around in your backyard, sniffing out those dead skeletons you got buried. That's what I believe that it is. You got skeletons in your own backyard, and you don't want a group of people with some basset hounds and some bona fide cadaver dogs that'll sniff out those dead bodies and dead skeletons in your backyard and expose you for who you are. But here, I got news for anybody that's done. If that's true, Mr. Smith, you can't stop it. Because what's done in secret and what's done in darkness will come to the light. It is a irrefutable, immutable law. It will happen. I can tell you that. It will happen. So you can be a fear. The very thing that you fear will come upon you. You fear it coming out. Here's the thing, and I'm going to be bold about this. These are all rumors, but they are rumors that persist to this very day. That Stephen A. Smith and Molly Karam been bumping pelvises. That he been getting that snatch. And the rumors also persist. It is one of the reasons that Molly Karam divorced Jalen Rose, the former basketball star that also works for ESPN from time to time. If that's true, Mr. Smith, that's going to come out. It's going to come out. You know why? Because God will allow it to come out. He's going to allow it to come out. What's done in darkness will come to the light. So you can try to take up for Joy Taylor to try to cover your own behind. But if you've done it, it's going to come to the light. I guarantee you that. It's an irrefutable, immutable. You can't mute this law. It's an immutable law. It will come to pass. And Cam Newton, you're just so screwed up. You don't know if you're coming or going. You don't know what morals is. I believe what Jason Whitlock said, and I'm not a Jason Whitlock saying, Cam, you need to sit down with your dad. He's a preacher, and find out what's really right and what isn't right. You got 8 kids by 3 different baby mamas, and you ain't married to any of them. See, you can't compare that to Solomon in the Old Testament because he was married to all those 1,000 women. They were all his wives. They were his wives. Give me a break, people. You need to understand that what you do in darkness will come to the light. It will come to the light. I guarantee it. And I don't guarantee it on my own understanding. I guarantee it on God's understanding. Because my understanding is irrelevant. But God's understanding is always right. He don't make mistakes and he don't lie. So y'all can sit up there and try to take up for Joy Taylor. But I tell you right now, once this thing goes to trial, and if it's true, her career is over with. So Joy Taylor, if you see this video, I'm telling you right now, you better get on your knees and repent and change your ways. Because you're going to have hell to pay. And it's going to come right back at you. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Hey, it is what it is. I've gone long enough. I've been pretty long-winded about this whole thing, but I'm going to let you go. I want you to have a blessed day, and I hope I made some sense to you all. And hey, God bless. Be blessed. Stay safe. And keep the peace. Good day.